All right, so typically I would have my Deschutes Brewery Jubilee, but today I have made myself a Boulevardier because I'm in a fancy mood. I'm feeling kind of fancy. A Boulevardier, if you are not familiar with it, is equal parts of sweet vermouth, banana liqueur, and bourbon. And I'm using Maker's Mark, which is it's a bit nicer than I like to use. I don't typically like to mix a bourbon that is worthy of sipping, but I didn't have any cheap shitty bourbon, so I had to use the good bourbon. Oh, poor me. Anyway, so here's the thing. Even though I don't like to talk about politics here, because I don't want politics to be like a big deal on this channel. It's not necessary. It doesn't have to be a big thing on this channel. I see a problem that's happening on both sides of the fence. This does not, by any stretch of the imagination, mean that both sides are the same. They are not the same. They have potential to be the same, but as you can see, the side that is in power is using their power in a particular way. That fucking sucks. The other side is not in power, so they're not using any power at all to do anything. But were they in power, and had they the balls, they would do similar things in the opposite direction. This is one of the things. A lot of people are saying abolish ICE, okay? And I agree. I agree, abolish ICE. We don't fucking need them. We've only had the goddamn... ICE has only existed for 20-odd years, okay? The Department of Homeland Security, 20-odd years. We don't fucking need them, okay? They were dramatic overreactions to the events of 9/11. We did not fucking need them. The Patriot Act, did not fucking need it. There's a bunch of fascism and tyranny built into this shit, and we said, you know what, we'll accept this if we're going to use it to fight terrorists. I don't know how to break this to you, but we're not using it to fight terrorists. We're using it to fight black and brown people. We're using it to hurt immigrants. We're using it to hurt families. We're using it to go after the poor. That's what we're using it for, because that's what the right wants to do. Okay? The right has a problem with the poor. They have a problem with immigrants. They have a problem with minorities. And they keep going, you know what we need to do is, we need to get rid of these people. These people on the bottom, we need to get rid of them. We don't need the bottom. Well, that fucking sucks. Meanwhile, the left, not the same, but they are going, we need to go after the rich. We need to go after the employers. We need to go after the landlords. We need to go after the people on the top, because we need to get rid of the top. Guys, there's always a top. There's always a bottom. You cannot get rid of the top and only have the middle and the bottom. You can't do that. The middle just turns into the top. You can't get rid of the bottom and only have the top and the middle. The middle becomes the bottom. People are fucking stupid. It's ridiculous watching just literal decades of these fucking morons going, oh, we need to get rid of this. We need to get rid of this. And if you just dig into it, you dig into it for like just a little bit. And you go, it's not going to fucking work. Now, all the way on the far right, you have your libertarian motherfuckers that are just like, no laws, no regulations, everybody just do whatever they want. Law of the jungle, survival of the fittest. Yeah, the end result of that is everybody dies. And over on the left, you have, communism, everybody gets everything they want, from each according to their abilities, to each according to their needs. Yeah, the end result of that is everybody fucking dies. Because when you take either one of these, when you say everybody does what they want, either because nobody's going to stop them or because the government is going to actively enable them, regardless of how you slice it, okay? Everybody does what they want means nobody is cleaning the septic tanks. Nobody works at the sewage treatment plant. Nobody's collecting the garbage. Nobody's mining cobalt. We can't have modern society without these things. Somebody needs to work in the sewage treatment plant. Somebody needs to collect the garbage. Somebody needs to mine the cobalt. And the way we currently have it is, we treat the people who do these things like shit. We go, what kind of shitty life do you live that's the best you can do? We really need to look at these positions as the noble callings that they are. If you are actually going to lower yourself to the point that you're going to deal with shit and garbage and mining cobalt, people need to respect and appreciate you for that, because it's a dirty, nasty, awful job, and somebody's got to do it, okay? And we should respect that. We should appreciate that. But we got all the people on the left that are going, nobody should have to do that. Nobody has to do that. Nobody's going to. There's no incentive to. If you treat these people like the heroes they are, who are enabling society to exist, then maybe people will do it. But if you treat them like crap, they're not. If you treat the people who deal with your shit like shit, and the people who deal with your garbage like garbage, they're not going to do it. They're not going to deal with your shit. They're not going to deal with your garbage. People don't appreciate that. They don't appreciate that. They don't appreciate that nobody does anything they don't want to do. Choosing to work in a sewage treatment plant, choosing to work as a garbage collector. These are noble things to do. And when you say, I'm going to go and I'm going to do that thing, and I'm coming at this from a fairly different place, because my grandfather dropped out of school in 4th grade so that he could go and work and support his family, because, the fucking Depression. And when he dropped out of school and went to support his family, what he went off to do was to dig outhouses and to clean septic tanks and to do plumbing and toilets and all of that shit. And he chose to do that because it was a noble thing to do. Because pretty much the only book he had ever read in its entirety was the Bible. And he kind of looked at that and he said, Jesus would dig your outhouse. Jesus would clean your toilet. Jesus would install your septic tank and do your plumbing. That's the thing that he would do, and that was very much his position on it. And he saw it as a noble calling, as a holy calling, in fact, which I, being Jewish, I'm not too big on the holy part of it. But I do agree that it was a noble calling, and I do agree that he was a noble person to go and do it. I also know he did a lot of work for the people in his church and said, just pay me when you can. And they never could. And he just let it be. He was a noble man, and I greatly respect him. But the issue we have on both sides of the fence is that whole, trying to cut off the bottom because the bottom is gross, and trying to cut off the top because the top is nasty. And you can't do that. You're just going to have a new top or a new bottom. It's the only thing you're going to accomplish by doing that. So stop it. Like, people go, we need to get rid of the employers. Okay, we get rid of the employers. Where are you going to work? No, we only want to get rid of the bad employers. Everybody will be a freelancer. Guys, I tell you this as somebody who has coached a lot of small businesses, many of them freelance businesses. And I have a lot of artists on my social media. Being a freelancer doesn't mean you don't have a boss. It means that every client you have is your boss. This is not an improvement. This does not make things better. You need a better class of people is what it is. There are a lot of people out there. There are a lot of artists that are trying to advertise their services, and they're going, you know what? It's not fair that I have to develop a following on social media, that I have to post consistently on social media, that I have to attract people to my profile, that I have to tell them my rates and tell them I'm available for commissions. It's not fair that I have to do all of that shit and I'm still expected to be an artist on top of it. It's like, I have a job, I'm an artist. Why do I have to do all these other jobs on top of it? That's an excellent point. This is why you start a company and you hire somebody to manage your social media presence and to manage your client relations and to determine your rates and to put all of that stuff out there. This is what a company is for. You specialize, you do the work, and you got somebody who goes out there and hawks your wares to the public. That's the way that's supposed to work. But instead, people are trying to go in the direction of the jack of all trades, and the jack of all trades, it's not even the master of none thing, okay? It's just like there's going to be one thing that you're good at, and there's going to be a bunch of stuff that you're bad at, and for most of us, it's the marketing that we're bad at. So, I mean, I'm fairly good at the marketing if it's somebody else's shit. I'm not good at marketing my own shit because of the imposter syndrome. The whole, I was raised that it is very, very rude and unacceptable to tell people, buy my shit. If it's my job to tell you to buy Bob's shit, I will tell you all day long about how great Bob's shit is. That's my job. Bob's shit is fucking great. Go buy Bob's shit. But my shit? I mean, I'm okay, I guess. I mean, I think it's pretty good. Like, I mean, it is what it is. It is very difficult for me to take my work and say, this is the greatest fucking thing since sliced bread. Give me money. That's very hard for me. It's very difficult. I'm not good at it. And it's like right now, I do work that a lot of people would go, you know, that works pretty good, but I don't feel like it's pretty good. I feel like I did a fairly shitty job on it. And if you were to ask me what this is worth, nah, this is not worth. Honestly, I should just delete that. I should throw this in the trash. This isn't even really this isn't a good. This isn't good because I did it, and I'm not good at this stuff. But I am. I mean, objectively, I am. I see people that are out there. I see people that are like, here's my commission sheet, and they start at $120 and they go up to $250, and I'm like, that's fucking garbage. I could do that in my sleep. I couldn't post that on the internet and show my face in public. Some people aren't cut out to be freelance. I'm definitely not cut out. What I'm cut out for, I think, and really kind of the direction that I'm pointed with my work and my career, is I really want to just like make the thing. And what the hell is going on here? Weird as hell. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I'm fucking stupid. Anyway. Something looked weird about my application window, and I was like, wait a minute, why does the application window look, oh, because usually I have, usually I have the other window open over there, but I don't, so it looks funny because that window's supposed to, that's how much I've had to drink. I'm probably going to go get a beer shortly. I'm actually going to try to finish this video before I finish this drink, so when I go get the beer, it's not a complete fucking shit show. Anyway, the problem everybody seems to have, and I don't think it's fundamentally a political problem, I think that everybody has a tendency to go, okay, there are two kinds of people. There's the people in the half of humanity that I am, and the people in the other half of humanity where I'm not. And some people are on the top and they think it's the bottom who's the problem. And some people are on the bottom and they think it's the top is the problem. And both of them go, okay, so those people on the top are the problem. We need to get rid of them. Oh, those people on the bottom are the problem. We need to get rid of them. You know what gets lost all the time in discussion after discussion of the 1%? It's like, you know, I have a very low fixed income, and I'm very far down on that, like, bottom percent. I'm probably the bottom 30%. Okay? I'm like way down here. Like, I make like nothing. And people go, but you have all of this stuff. Yeah, but I spend all my fucking money on this because I'm stupid and make bad decisions. Anyway, I'm down fairly low. My household is doing well, okay, because we all kind of like pool our resources, and you know, my parents are older, they have retirement incomes and they have Social Security and all of that shit, and I make dirt. In fact, I basically make absolutely fucking nothing after this new thing that Amazon did to me, but I'll fix the thing Amazon did to me eventually. At some point, I'm going to have to really bite the bullet and go, are you going to write the Badass Manifesto, or is the Legion of Badass just dead? And I don't know. I mean, I'm holding on to that. I'm holding on to that goal. I'm holding on to that dream. I'm holding on to all of the work I've done toward that. But is it really something I'm going to do, or am I going to do something else? Like, where's the Legion? What's the Legion? Is it the 4 people who actually talk on the fucking Discord server? Not much of a Legion. More of a group. The group of badass. The group chat of badass. That's fun. Anyway. And honestly, how badass is that? But yeah. What was I getting at? I don't know what I was getting. The whole issue on both sides of the political spectrum is that, number one, they think there's an enemy. And number two, they think it's somebody else. So I was talking a couple of days ago. You got all of these people, they say, nobody wants to work anymore. It's not that they don't want to work anymore. It's that they don't know how to work anymore. And you're not teaching them how to work. Well, I shouldn't have to teach them how to work. You know, I agree. You shouldn't have to teach them how to work. But especially after the pandemic, you got all these people that were in high school during the pandemic, okay? And the last couple years of their high school education were thoroughly fucked up and disrupted by the pandemic. And now their university education has been thoroughly fucked up and disrupted by being entirely inhabited by people fucked up by the pandemic. And they're getting out and into the workforce and they don't know what the fuck they're doing because the pandemic fucked everything up. Do you understand? It fucked everything up. And we're going to be feeling the repercussions of that for probably 12 years. And a lot of people have really not internalized that. Because the fact of the matter is that, like, in 2020, we ruined a lot of people's lives in the last couple of years before they went to university, or the last couple of years before they entered the job market, or the first couple of years that they were just getting into the job market. We completely fucked everything up for them. And it's going to take several years for that to percolate through the system and for those people to get where they're going and go, hey, I've finally started to figure out what the fuck's going on. We essentially took 2 years of everybody's life and chucked it into a wood chipper. And that gap, that 2-year gap, where like nothing, where everybody was arguing about whether they should fucking wear masks. And yes, you should wear masks. Okay, wearing a mask really costs you nothing. It does nothing to you meaningful, but it can help an awful lot of people. And I swear to God, if you've never had COVID, you honestly do not understand. You do not comprehend how bad it is. You do not comprehend how long it stays with you. Like, God, it's been like 6 months. And I still have knock-on effects. It's still never completely gone away. This shit is awful. And I sit here and I go, I'm trying to think about stuff and I'm trying to work on stuff and my brain doesn't work right. And I just sit here and go, every single person that has an MRI after COVID has brain damage. And I'm like, how much fucking brain damage did I get from this shit? Because my brain doesn't work the way that it used to. It's really not gone well. The macular degeneration has been noticeable. I've noticed that my eyesight is worse. I've noticed that my respiration is worse. I've noticed that I don't sleep as well, and it has fucked up so much stuff. And I swear to God, if you're sitting here going, I don't want to wear a mask because it's kind of uncomfortable, bitch, you don't know what uncomfortable is. Protect people from this shit. It's fucking awful. It is like seriously fucking awful. Anyway. The parties in power always try to exercise their power to produce the future that they want. And they have a fiction in their head about what that future is. But the reality of that future is everybody dies. So we need the two sides to fight with each other. We need them to push back against each other. Because if either one of them wins, everybody dies. And I don't think enough people understand that. I don't think enough people recognize that you can't build utopia. And even if you did, nobody would want to live there. Herbert George Wells absolutely nailed it in The Time Machine when he divided society into the Eloi and the Morlocks. There's a quantity of suffering that is absolutely required for society to function. And if you're not suffering, somebody else is. And I don't think we appreciate that sufficiently. That's a dangerous drink. That's a very dangerous drink. I'm going to go get a beer. I'll be right back. That is a very dangerous drink. Seriously, that's an extraordinarily dangerous drink. Because now granted, a lot of people would use a 40 proof banana liqueur, so a banana cream perhaps. I use 99 bananas, which is 99 proof, because of course, and I use a vermouth rosso instead of just plain sweet vermouth. All rosso vermouth is sweet, but not all sweet vermouth is rosso. And a rosso tends to have a higher alcohol content. And yeah, so yeah, my Boulevardier was particularly stiff. I made it with Maker's Mark, so it's very fine as well. It's very good. It's very good. I very much like it. It is what I like to call a babysitter drink, and a babysitter drink is a drink you could give the 15-year-old babysitter if you're trying to get her hammered for some reason. Liquor before beer, you're in the clear. Anyway. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination a centrist. On almost every issue, I fall very clearly on either the left or the right. And all of the positions where I fall on the right are like, I think you should be able to do all the drugs you want. And is that a right-wing belief? I think you should be able to put whatever you want in your body. Okay? I don't think you should be forced to put anything you don't want in your body, but I also think you should be putting whatever you want in your body. I think it is immensely stupid to be an anti-vaxxer, but I think you should be allowed to be an anti-vaxxer. I don't think you should be allowed to send your children to public school if they're not vaccinated. And I think you should really be excluded from a lot of areas of public life if you're not vaccinated. Because, you know, face it, okay? If you don't care whether you get sick, that's one thing. If you don't care whether other people get sick, fuck you, go home. I believe you should be able to own whatever you want. I believe if you own something, you should be allowed to continue owning it. I think everybody should be able to own whatever weapons they want. I'm a huge Second Amendment fan. Absolutely. Buy all the fucking guns you want. Own all the fucking guns you want. I don't own guns, but I own swords and knives, and I own weapons out the fucking wazoo. Okay? If you like guns, pussy. But yeah, you know, own guns. Own all the guns you want. You want a tactical nuclear weapon? Go right ahead. You want to buy an old ICBM silo and put an actual fucking ICBM in it and put a warhead on it? Absolutely. There should be regulations. You should have to maintain it properly. You should be able to demonstrate at any given point in time that you are maintaining it properly. You have an ICBM silo with a nuclear warhead in it? You need to submit to inspection by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission at any time. They should be able to call you up and say, tomorrow morning we're going to inspect your facility. And you should let them in to inspect your facility. And they should come in and inspect it and go, okay, yeah, you know how to keep your nuclear weapon. And if you don't, they should go, you're not allowed to own that anymore. Fuck you. Plus pay this immense fine because fuck you. But yeah, I think you should be able to own whatever weapons you want. I think you should be able to build your own explosives at home. I do think the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives should be able to track, hey, I'm a person who makes explosives. I have a magazine installed on my property, and yes, it conforms with the requirements of having that magazine. I think you should be able to safely own whatever fucking weapons you want. That's a fairly right-wing belief. I think you should be able to make bombs and keep them in your shed if your shed is appropriately maintained. I think that's important. I think you should be able to do that. I think that's a nice thing to do, and a nice thing to do. I own lots of bombs. It's a nice thing to do. I think that's totally a thing you should be able to do. High explosive? Fuck yeah. Just like anything. You want to make your own fireworks. You want to blow off fireworks. And that's really where I come at this from, because I'm a pyrotechnician. I love fireworks. I fucking love fireworks. I was 6 years old when I saw the bicentennial fireworks in Boston, Massachusetts. Oh my fucking God, that show. Oh my fucking God. And I have loved fireworks my entire life. The rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air. We are a fireworks nation, and by God, I love fireworks. I love to build fireworks. I love to set off fireworks. I love the design shows. I love to set them off. It's fucking incredible. And I live in Washington where you're not allowed to set off any fireworks that go up in the air. Just, I'm not allowed. It's not a thing I'm allowed to do. But the law is the law. Most laws are stupid. You follow them anyway. No jaywalking. Jaywalking is a made-up crime. That's bullshit. That's crossing the street where you're not supposed to cross the street. It's where I am. I'm supposed to cross the street from where I am to where I'm going. That, you know what, fuck it, I'll just walk to the corner. It's not that much of an imposition. Firmly believe, if the law is not that big of a deal, follow the law. I am fairly militant about piracy. Don't fucking steal shit. How hard is that? I am fairly militant about advertising. If a website has ads on it, the ads are the price of visiting the site. Don't block the ads. If you block the ads, you're stealing the content. That's theft. Don't fucking do that. Everybody's doing that. I'm a musician. People pirate music. I'm an artist. People pirate art. I make videos. People pirate videos. They pirate movies. They pirate television. Video's video. You know? Right? Software. People pirate software. Everything that I do is fucking digital. I write. And the things that I write can be easily turned into PDFs, and PDFs can be easily pirated, and people do. All of the things that I do are easy to steal. They're easily stolen, and people are stealing them all the time. And I'm like, don't steal shit. And people are like, oh, well, you know, I can't afford all of this shit. You can't have all of this shit. Choose the shit that's the most important to you and pay for it. That's what you're supposed to do. My boss won't pay me enough money, then get a new boss. I can't do that. I'd have to leave my job and then I would make no money. Yeah, you're starting to understand the trade-offs of being a participant in modern society and the modern economy. At this point, this has turned into just an unhinged rant about how fucked up everything is. So y'all are welcome to click off at this point. You've already... Who am I fucking kidding? The average watch time on my videos is 3 minutes. Nobody's here. I can say anything. Fuck your mother in the arse. Anyway, if you heard me say fuck your mother in the arse, comment, I heard it in the comments. Nobody's going to comment it. Nobody's going to say it. Just watch. Nobody will say that. Even if they do, I'll just delete the comments and pretend they didn't. I wouldn't do that. The primary function of a government is to prevent fraud, abuse, and corruption. This is really the point that I've been trying to get at the whole time, is that what everybody is afraid of as they start getting closer and closer to the libertarian ideal or to the communist ideal, what everybody is afraid of is that as you get closer and closer to that, you lose the coercive force to make people do what has to be done. So you start employing that coercive force more and more. Like as you get farther and farther toward the libertarian side, you go, Okay, if nobody's going to work in the sewage plant, then some of you don't get to eat. Some of you don't get to eat. You don't get to have clothing on your backs. You don't get to have shelter. You don't get health care. You don't get anything. You don't get any of the things that you need to live. You can just die in the street like a dog unless you do the things that we need you to do. And on the communist side, they say, you will do the things that we need you to do. They just grab you and they go, hey, you need to go and work in the sewage treatment plant. You need to collect garbage. You need to mine cobalt. And you go, but no, I'm a poet. I'm an artist. I'm a musician. And they go, yeah, we don't fucking care. There are better poets and artists and musicians. And because there are better poets and artists and musicians, we don't need you. We don't need the blind dog who finds a bone sometimes. We don't need the broken clock that's right twice a day. We need somebody to work in the sewage treatment plant. We need somebody to collect the garbage. We need somebody to mine the cobalt. And that's you. And if you don't do it, well, there's your social contract. If you do not abide by the social contract, you are not protected by it. And because you are not protected by it, you don't get food in your belly or clothes on your back or a roof over your head. You don't get those things anymore. You have to do as you're told. And that coercive power rises and rises and rises until, at the bottom, the libertarian over here, is it over here? The libertarian's over here, and the communism is over here. And those gradually come together into the fascist state. They come together into the Orwellian 1984. Unless the government properly recognizes its job to reduce fraud, corruption, and abuse. That's what it's supposed to do. You can't reduce them to zero. You really can't. You need the coercive power to get people to do what you want them to do, because people are shit. People have always been shit. I've been talking about this. I'm gonna pull out some badass manifesto, Legion of Badass shit, and none of y'all are gonna understand it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. People are inherently, I call them Slim Jims. I call them Slim Jims. That's a Stephen King reference. That's a reference to the story of the Library Police, which, if I remember correctly, was in the Skeleton Crew anthology. If it wasn't in Skeleton Crew, it was in Nightmares and Dreamscapes. One or the other, the Library Police. But yeah, Slim Jim. The Slim Jim, S-L-I-M. Selfish, lazy, ignorant, and mean. That is the natural state of humanity. And everybody goes, no, it's not. I'm sorry. Do you have to teach people to take, or do you have to teach them to share? Do you have to teach people to fuck off, or do you have to teach them to work? Do you have to teach people to be stupid, or do you have to teach them to value education? Do you have to teach people to be nasty, or do you have to teach them to be nice? Every single parent on the fucking planet understands. You got to teach people to share. You got to teach people to work. You got to teach people to learn. You got to teach people to be nice. They don't come out of the womb knowing these things. Some people are inherently good. My kids were fucking amazing. I mean, we literally, on my oldest son's 5th birthday, I think it was his 5th or 6th birthday, everything he got, he tried to immediately give half of it to his brother. And we had to step in and stop it. Don't give half of everything to your brother. That's not, no, this is for you. You can give it to your brother later if you want, and We gave him $100, which is like a shocking amount of money to give to a child that age. I know, but that was intentional. That it was intentional. It was like, you decide what to do with this money. And he took the five $20 bills. And he gave two of them to his brother. And then he took the third one, and he had trouble deciding what to do with it. It was an interesting moment. It was fascinating from a perspective of, he was trying to decide who should get the middle one. He was trying to decide. And I really wanted to see what he would decide. And my mother said, I can give you two $10 bills for that. And he said, okay. And he handed it to her, and she gave him two $10 bills. And he gave one of the $10 bills to his brother. I love that I raised a child who wants to do this. I loved that I raised a child who wanted to share everything, who wanted to give half of everything to his brother. But at the same time, I understood it would be a matter of hours before he understood that was mine and I gave it away. So I didn't let him give it to his brother. And I believe, but cannot prove, that his brother remembers that. Remembers that his brother tried to give him $50 and I wouldn't let him. I gave it back to his older brother. I don't know how he feels about that. And I wonder sometimes, should I have let him? Should I have let Logan give Connor $50 of the $100 he got for his birthday? Because in retrospect, today, Logan's 21. Logan is 21 years old. And I look at him, and I look at the man he's become, and I look at his values, and I think he's still that person who would give $50 to his brother. And I think I did him a disservice by not letting him. I think I was a bad parent. Misunderstood both of my children. It's been 15 years. Still think about it. I think my children are better than I ever gave them credit for. And just naturally. Just naturally. I look back at what I taught them and what I told them. And I see where the things that I taught them and the things that I told them had an impact. But I don't think this is one of them. I think I think Logan was always a kinder, gentler, more giving person than I ever gave him credit. And I think Connor was too. I think my children are better than me in a lot of ways, and I'm very, very proud. I think the world was nasty to me in ways that changed me and that made me a worse person. And I think between me, their mother, and their grandparents, I think all of us conspired to raise them in a way that the world wasn't as nasty to them, and it didn't ruin them as much, and they came out better people. And I think that's our job. I think that's our job as parents, is to make our children better people than we were. I know Connor's a better person than I am. And I know Logan's a better person than I am. I know Logan's boyfriend is a better person than I am. Nobody is watching this anymore. We're at over 45 minutes. Nobody is paying any attention. Any of them. They've all dropped off, all fallen off. I wonder sometimes whether the ends of my long videos, or the ends of my long drunken videos, I wonder whether the ends of these videos are the least important or the most important. I think for me, they're the most important because every video I make is a journey. It's a process. I don't write a script. I don't try to accomplish a goal. There we go. I told you I'd do better this time. I told you I would do better. If you're here for the belching, I would do better. See, there you go. There's some belching for you. Anyway. I always try to have a point to make when I start these videos, but I don't feel like I make them very well because there are a dozen different points I can make, and who knows which direction I'm going to go with them. Because it really comes down to, here's a thing. When I was thinking about doing this video, when I was thinking about saying, hey, here's the thing, here's the important thing, one of the things I was thinking about was that I have a degree in occult science. And if you don't know what occult science is, well, obviously, occult science is fundamentally a familiarity with the works of Rudolf Steiner. Rudolf Steiner is the founder of American homeschooling. That's his claim to fame. But less overtly, Rudolf Steiner formulated quantum parallel universe theory before quantum physics was a thing. like decades before quantum theory was a thing. Because Rudolf Steiner approached quantum parallel universe theory from the direction of religion and magic. That's magic with a K, M-A-G-I-C-K, like Aleister Crowley, because Rudolf Steiner and Aleister Crowley were contemporaries in the Order of the Golden Dawn. There's a lot of stuff behind it. If you're not familiar with any of that, there's a lot of detail behind that I'm not going to go into. But anyway, Rudolf Steiner approached this from the direction of religion and magic. And later, like decades later, like in the 1930s, 1940s, Niels Bohr would start to go, well, coming from the direction of science and mathematics. And he arrived at almost the same basic conclusions that Rudolf Steiner did. And this colors my entire perception of the world. Everything that I see in the world is colored from the perception of Niels Bohr came up with a concept and he argued with Einstein and Einstein took him seriously, and Niels Bohr's concept is indistinguishable from Rudolf Steiner's concept. It's the same thing. It's okay. So if you're not familiar with the Bohr-Einstein debates, okay, Niels Bohr said that particle is a particle because I perceive it. If I did not perceive it, it would not be a particle. It's my perception creates reality. And Einstein went, no. Reality exists whether you believe in it or not. That is a real particle, and it behaves according to real laws. We just don't entirely understand those laws. Rudolf Steiner said, we live in a confluence of dimensions. There are dimensions outside of our own that we cannot perceive. And because we cannot perceive them, they are not real to us. But some of those dimensions can perceive us. And we are real to them, even though they are not real to us. Sometimes we perceive them and they are real to us. But that doesn't mean they can perceive us. That doesn't mean we're real to them. I can be real to you, but you don't have to be real to me. And there's an animism to the way Niels Bohr talks about this. There's a deep philosophical concept here, which is that just because you see somebody else doesn't mean they see you. And just because they see you doesn't mean you see them. But it goes further, because with parallel universe theory, there's this concept, and even Einstein recognizes it. Einstein and Bohr both recognize this, that there are multiple parallel universes, and there's a possibility that you could travel from universe A to universe B. What the Bohr-Einstein concept doesn't take into effect, Rudolf Steiner articulated fairly clearly. Just because you can travel from universe A to universe B doesn't mean you can ever travel back. So it's entirely possible that you're sitting in universe A and you cannot perceive anything happening in universe B, but universe B can watch universe A. There are people watching you right now that you do not know about and cannot know about, cannot perceive them. Beings perceive you that you cannot perceive. Very Lovecraftian, I know. Steiner was also part of one of Lovecraft's influences. By proxy, I don't think Lovecraft ever actually read Steiner because Steiner was fucking weird, and I don't think, well, Lovecraft is also fucking weird, but I don't think he was weird in the same way Steiner was weird. They were weird in opposite directions, so they were going different ways. I think Steiner was weird at somebody else who was weird at Lovecraft. I think that's kind of, there's an intermediary. There's a string of intermediaries. One or more intermediaries sit between Steiner and Lovecraft. Lovecraft is still not a good writer. Anyway, what was I trying to get at? I was trying to get at something. Something on my tablet. It's driving me fucking nuts! I am too intoxicated to behave appropriately. This is either when I am at my worst or when I am at my best, depending on whom you talk to. Anyway, Steiner was very much of the opinion that the transitive property did not apply to dimensions. That dimensions existed, which we could not see, but which we could travel to. And that could see us, but that could not travel to us. Ambrose Bierce dealt with this somewhat in the question of the damned thing. The damned thing inhabited a point between the dimensions. And because it inhabited a point between the dimensions, it could affect our dimension, but could not be perceived in our dimension. He articulated this badly in terms of light waves. Light waves don't work like that. This is a large part to a few of Boulevardier. Man, are they good. Oh, man, are you find in a lot of older speculative fiction, whether you're looking at science fiction or fantasy or horror, you find a lot of stuff that is prone to the failures of the science of the time. You find the same thing with astrology. Astrology is correlation, not causation. The stars don't cause effects in your life. But there are things that do cause effects in your life that follow the same patterns and cycles as the stars. It's just correlation. It's like I don't know what it's like. I'm too fucking drunk to come up with a good analogy at this point. You know, one of my quote-unquote right-wing beliefs is that ancient wisdom matters more than we give it credit. There are things that we knew, that we understood 2,000 years ago, that somewhere along the line we went, well, we can't prove it, so it must not be true. But we knew them. We knew them beyond the shadow of a doubt. The Egyptians used to grow multicolored cotton. And as late as the 2010s, we didn't know how. Now now we do. Now we do. Genetically modified organisms have given us colored cotton. Now we have figured it out. We have figured out how to grow colored cotton just like the Egyptians did. What we don't know is, how the fuck did the ancient Egyptians figure it out? Like, seriously, how? They don't have CRISPR. They can't run computer simulations. How did they do it? We don't know. We'll never know. That's real occultism. It's the hidden knowledge, the knowledge that we don't know, and we don't know where it came from, but it's waiting there. It's waiting for us to discover. Should I drink more? It's been over an hour. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. No, it's been an hour, 1 minute, and 20 seconds. I was looking at the minutes and seconds going, it's an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah. I am going to get a shitty IPA. I are here. I has arrived. Hooray. This is an Elysian Ales Space Dust IPA. It is one of the shittiest IPAs it has ever been my displeasure to drink. Oh, good Lord, it's spilling everywhere. What an absolute piece of shit. What the fuck? Is it because I'm drunk? No, it's because the can's fucking stupid. That's what it is. Okay. It only landed on the concrete. It hasn't landed on the rug. That's good. You clear off the corner here. I think I just dropped it next to the trash. Oh, what the fuck? Gimme. There we go. All right, there. There we go. There we go. Ego. Ego. Yeah, this is one of the shittiest IPAs it has ever been my displeasure to drink. But now that I've had this much to drink, I don't fucking care. Wow, this is awful. It's got hints of mango. I fucking hate mango. You know, here's the thing. Mango reminds me of turpentine in a bad way. But the shitty thing is, I think turpentine smells great. Every time I use turpentine to clean something up, it's like, oh God. Oh, that smells so fucking good. That's a genetic thing. I think it's probably like a negative. I think it's a negative effect on the survivability of the species to think that turpentine smells delicious. But yeah, mango reminds me of turpentine, but it's like if turpentine went bad. I would rather drink turpentine than mango. That's fucking awful. Oh God. I don't even remember what I was talking about. I have completely lost track. There's a part of me that just wants to start dropping. I just want to start rapping. That's a thing that happens when I get like drunk. Miss the 80s. I miss my parachute pants and my pleather jacket with all of the zippers on it. I miss my Puma tracksuit. I miss breakdancing in weird places where nobody expects it. I miss the dance circle that just like appeared at clubs. I miss the culture of it. I miss the whole. I miss being a teenager. I miss being a teenager and thinking if I wore the right clothes and I went to the right clubs and I danced well enough when the circle formed, that it would somehow be beneficial to me. I miss being on the corner of 3rd and G in Southeast DC, outside of Garfield Park, and freestyle rapping and just absolutely getting my arse handed because I fucking suck at freestyle rap. And I remember the deep misogynoir of the last time that I tried to bust a rap on the corner of 3rd and G. And this girl completely fucking wiped the street with me. Oh my God, she was so fucking good. And she was so absolutely, I was blown away. I was blown away by how good she was. And a couple of months later, I saw that girl on Showtime at the Apollo. It was DeBrat. DeBrat was in DC and showed up on 3rd and G at Garfield Park to battle rap with just the fucking street rappers, the street freestylers. And she was so fucking good. She was so amazingly good that I went, I'm not even going back. I'm just, that's not even a thing I'm going to do anymore. Because I'm so functified. It make you move from side to side. She was so good. She was really. I miss that. I miss the days of freestyle battle rap, but Eminem kind of put a stop to that when his work at 8 Mile became kind of public. Everything black goes straight to hell as soon as a white boy does it. As soon as a white boy is like really fucking good at it, it goes straight to hell. Eminem killed freestyle rap. He really did. And it annoyed me. It really fucking annoyed me because, like, here's the thing about Eminem, okay? I've got bootlegs of Eminem. You can look them up. If you look up, if you go and you look up Eminem 1990s, you will find stuff by Eminem. And you listen to it. And it's got a drum beat and a DJ scratching over top of that drum beat. And Eminem is dropping lines over top of it. And that shit, oh my fucking God, it's so good. It's so goddamn good. It's just like, it's fucking incredible. And then you turn around and you go, Okay, so let's look at modern Eminem. Well, I went down to the store, and now you know what I'm going there for, because I gotta go and get myself some coffee. Says, Eminem's modern work is such absolute fucking garbage. And 35 years ago, it was fucking blowing the doors off everything. And when I first heard that Eminem was getting together with Dre, I've talked about this before. Fundamentally, when I get this deep, in my cups and I start talking about rap music, and I start talking about the early days of rap music, and I start talking about, oh my fucking God, the shit that went down with Eminem. Yeah, I'm kind of lost in the nostalgia, okay? I'm kind of lost in the nostalgia. I don't really have a clear picture of it because, I sit there and I think about it and I go, man, I remember it being this, I remember it being that. And when I really when I concentrate and I go, what exactly happened? What exactly happened? Oh, I remember being in that dance circle. I got laughed at a lot in that dance circle. Oh, I remember battle rapping on the corner of 3rd and G. I remember getting clowned on a lot on that street corner. I was never a good break dancer. I was never a good rapper. I was never a good beatboxer. I was never a good graffiti artist. I was. What is a DJ if he can't rap? What is an MC if he can't rap? What is a DJ if he can't scratch? What is a beat without a live clap? Well, I can do it all, baby, just like that. I was not good. I was never good. At no point was I going to be discovered. At no point was I going to get famous. At no point did I get robbed. I just got shown over and over and over again. So many people were better than me. You ever meet those people that just they peaked in high school? I was the best there was when I was on the football team, when we played the big game, when we had that one thing, and then this one thing went wrong. No. I went out on that street corner week after week after week. And I was not that good. I mean, I was okay. But so many people were so much more than okay. I'm glad I was there. I'm proud I showed up. I'm proud that I was okay. That's kind of my life. I showed up and I was okay. I show up with my art and I'm okay. I show up with my music and I'm okay. I show up with my games and I'm okay. Not great. My whole career, I showed up with code. I was okay. To the extent that I was a rock star, I was a rock star because I showed up in places other people wouldn't show up. I got my real start in software development because it was the 1990s. And William Jefferson Clinton had just been elected. Soviet Union was over. But we had all of these weapons contracts, all of these military contracts from the Reagan era. Insane fucking shit that nobody wanted to do because it's a new era. It's the 90s, man. It's the era of Glasnost. It's the era of Gorbachev. Man, we're not afraid of Russia anymore. Russia's cool. We like Russia. Russia likes us. Everything's going to be okay. Well, the gears of government move slowly. And because the gears of government move slowly, we've got military contracts that were greenlit in 1982 and formulated in 1987. And now here we are in 1992. We've won the contract. We are obligated to build the absolutely fucking horrifying shit that Ronald Reagan wanted us to build. Not even Ronald Reagan. The generals operating under Ronald Reagan wanted us to build. You think Reagan was a warmongering fuckhead. You ain't seen shit until you see the shit his generals thought, we need this. And the kinder, gentler nation. And remember, it was George Herbert Walker Bush that tried to lead us in the direction of a kinder, gentler nation. Okay, so it's a Republican concept. It's a Republican ideal. And he was just like, maybe we don't need to extinguish all fucking life on the earth with the exception of perhaps some anaerobic bacteria that's still 1.5 miles to 2 miles beneath the crust of the earth. And the wheels of government turn slowly. So we still have those contracts. Write the code to drop the bombs that kill everything. Everything, literally. Not just human extinction, but like reduce the planet Earth to a lifeless rock rolling alone in a blanket of its own dust and ash. And I wrote that code. I wrote that code and I built those applications. And I killed everything on the planet 100 times over. Well, not 100 times over. 12 times. A couple dozen times over. And it never really came home to roost until one day I was at work. And like 4 guys in black suits came in. 4 guys I didn't know. They came in black suits. And they had a cart, a gray fiberglass cart. And it had all these boxes on it. And they said, take your code and burn it onto the EEPROM and socket it in these cards that are in these boxes. And I was writing MERV code. I was writing code for those of you who don't know, a MERV, M-I-R-V, it's a multiple independent reentry vehicle. That is a single intercontinental ballistic missile that has multiple warheads, and each of those warheads has independent targeting so it can land at a different target. And they brought me a bunch of physical cards. That would be socketed in slots on the backplane of an actual physical intercontinental ballistic missile. And they said, burn your code onto a chip, an EEPROM, an erasable, programmable, read-only memory. Burn your code onto an EEPROM and socket it in these cards. They didn't say it, but deep down I knew that they were going to take these cards and they were going to ship them out to missile silos across the world. And actual missiles would have actual targeting cards with actual instructions to target multiple nuclear warheads at independent targets. That's when I came home. That's when I understood for the first time that I wasn't murdering theoretical people that would never actually die. I was murdering real potential people that actually might. I was murdering the real potential human race. If I were a better human being, I would say, that's when I decided not to do that anymore. I kept doing it. Kept writing the code, and I kept working for the companies, and I kept doing my job. It would be another 2 years before I moved from all the defense work to working for the GSA and the CAD Center, and concerning myself primarily with the allocation of rental space for the federal government. How can you stand to do such a boring bullshit job? The alternative is murder. At any given point in time, we are 72 hours from the complete extinction of all life on this planet. It may not be my code that does it. I'm sure there are a dozen other people whose code could do the same. It might be my code. Might be what I wrote. Might be the thing that. I don't see the world the same way. I haven't seen the same world. I haven't seen the world the same way in a very, very long time. Because fundamentally, I'm already dead. I've already killed us. This is depressing as fuck. And I'm not going to talk about it anymore.